Hey Rose, it's Monday, March 12th. Now before I start, I just want to warn you Rose and all you fiddles and pickles that I'm a little hesitant on today's topic. It's a topic that most people find generally pretty boring, and if it comes up in conversation, most people assume that you don't really have anything better to talk about. With that being said, the topic is of course the weather. If you remember, last week I shot a video from Monday in which I showed the temperature to be really cold. Also, I'm super bundled up because it's like really cold out.
Really cold. 6 degrees.
Well then this Monday, 2 days ago, I took this video. Just 7 days later and the temperature has gone up 70 degrees. This allowed me to do some fun summery things like driving around with the windows down or drinking wine outside at a friend's house. I'm wearing shorts. To most people this might seem crazy, however to some people, for instance those who live in the Midwest United States, this is a normal part of life. Like during the last week here in Lawrence, I've barely even heard anyone mention the temperature change. So why is this? Arguably the largest factor controlling weather and temperature is the ocean. Water has the ability to hold a great deal of thermal energy, or heat, and because of this it takes a lot of time and energy to change the temperature of water. Therefore, near coastlines, the ocean acts as a giant thermal regulator, causing the temperature to change slowly and gradually throughout the year, with only slight variations coming from things like changing ocean currents and strong ocean storms. On Earth, over 80% of the entire human population lives within 60 miles of an ocean coast. Because of this, most people are used to a gradual change in temperature throughout the year. Well, here in Kansas, we are not very close to an ocean. I live 800 miles from the closest coast, the Gulf of Mexico, and 1,800 miles and 1,200 miles to the Pacific and Atlantic coasts, respectively. So with no nearby ocean to regulate our temperature, things can get a little wild. But that only explains why things can get out of control. It doesn't actually explain the temperature changes themselves. For that, we're gonna have to shift our geographic sights from the ocean and start looking more at geologic processes. Our atmosphere is made of gas. Gas is compressible, so with the force of gravity from our planet, this means the closer you are to the surface of Earth, the denser the air is, and therefore the more of it there is. This means that relatively small things, well, small compared to the size of the atmosphere I guess, like hills and mountains, can actually have a pretty drastic effect on the weather. Mountains can create a large barrier in the atmosphere that can greatly change how weather behaves. When humid air and rain clouds hit a mountain range, it tends to drop its precipitation on the side of the mountain that it hits. Because of this, we often find that one side of a mountain range is often lush and tropical with plenty of water, while the other side of the same mountain range is a barren desert. Well, where I live, we are far away from mountains and it is quite flat here. Not only that, but the mountain ranges to the far west and far right form a sort of flat channel through the middle of the country. This allows cold air from Canada and warm air from Mexico to easily flow through the area. And this is why we have such drastic temperature changes here. And not only that, because when cold air and warm air hit each other so violently, you can have really strong storms. And yes, tornadoes. Fortunately not of the shark variety, but it turns out normal shark-less tornadoes are also pretty deadly. This has actually caused this area of the country to be referred to as Tornado Alley. I really like this information because it's an example of how intertwined all the different systems of our planet actually are, with seemingly unrelated things like geology and oceanography affecting meteorology. That's just so awesome. So I am definitely going to sit back and enjoy the nice weather while it's here. But you should always be prepared for anything. Rose, we will see you on Friday.